Hello, this is Parrish Alford with the Daily Journal. I'm joined by John Davis, the sports editor of the Oxford Citizen, our sister publication. This is Rapid Reaction. We're coming to you after Ole Miss Campus Media Day. You might hear some lightning, a little bit of rain here.
I think you got to hear thunder.
Yeah. If you hear the lightning, let us know because you're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can be on America's greatest.
You hear the thunder, and we've seen some lightning. But anyway, we're here at the close of the Ole Miss Campus Media Day, and JD, almost as surprising as the rain shower, which we haven't had in a while, was the appearance of Chad Kelly. He wasn't on the docket for today, but he did come out and speak. There'll be some video of Chad Kelly on the blog at InsideOleMissSports.com right here in a little while. But right now, let's just talk about Chad and how he presented himself to the media.
I thought he was fantastic. It was a home run. It was very welcomed. But I thought we were doing well with what Coach Freeze said during the press conference, which was if he wins the job or if he looks like he's going to play some, you know, he's definitely earned it to come talk with us, and he's trying to help us out. You know, first-year players have typically not talked to us, and even though Chad's been around the college game a few years, he's considered a first-year guy. So I thought it was very, very great. I remember walking around Media Day, and Coach Freeze even came up to me and said, you know, Chad's going to talk here, so be ready. I was like, oh, that's great, Coach. I mean, that's awesome. And you know, I thought he was great. I thought Chad Kelly was fantastic. I've talked with him during recruiting. I'm familiar with him from East Mississippi. Buddy Stevens has talked about him extensively with me. The point is, he was every bit as good as he was 7 months ago when I talked to him on the phone when he chose Ole Miss.
Well, Freeze said he's earned the right. Here's the thing about Chad Kelly. Since the December arrest right after his signing as a mid-year enrollee, that arrest, that was all well documented and everything. He's pushed the right button since then, JD. I mean, since that time, when you see Chad Kelly, you know, he's quoting scripture. He's talking about a mission trip to Haiti. He's taking pictures with young fans. I mean, that's what you see on his Twitter page right now. You see him retweeting the news in June that he was the M Club's student athlete of
4.0 GPA.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, he's doing all the right things right now, and he said all the right things today. And you know, this is a guy who, you know, has a very troubled past, whose very career was hanging in the balance after that arrest. You know, probably wouldn't have gotten another chance at major college football if that had not worked out. And I talked to him about that, and I said, Chad, when did it sink in that you've got to change your decisions or you're not going to play major college football? And he talked about awareness, just being so aware of how your decisions affect so many different people. He said that's really been the biggest thing. He talked about really just staying in his apartment, watching film. I mean, you know, his summer, according to Chad Kelly, was spent at his apartment in the IPF. I mean, that's where he's been
working out and watching film and reading the Bible and apparently going to Bible study. I know this. I know you have your ear to the ground when you live here. You've been here for almost 20 years like I have. There was no Chad Kelly going out this summer. I think maybe
because you would have heard that.
No, you know,
because people were on the lookout.
And initially, I think that when he first got here, there may have been a few times we've gone out. That's not uncommon. You know, I don't mean anything negative by that anyway. But I can tell you this: the last 3 to 4 or 5 months, it's definitely been. You know, I really firmly believe the trip to Haiti probably was his major turning point. You know, that way to where it's focused, it's football, it's everything. Beyond just the arrest, and I'm sure that was the initial thing. I'm sure the last 7 months he's grown as a person and in a positive way, and I think as a result this team is going to benefit from the Chad Kelly that may be the most focused he's ever been in his career.
Yeah, and you know, and back when it was announced that he was part of that Haiti mission trip team, I know there were some people who rolled eyes and said, well, he has to do this and on and on, and maybe he did, maybe not. I don't know. You know, I don't know about that part of the equation, but I do know this: when you go on a mission trip like that and you see a group of people who have so much less than you have, so much less than so many people in America have, it's a very humbling experience.
No doubt.
And when you go and help people like that, there's an opportunity for personal growth. And like you're saying, very possible that that's what one thing that has occurred with Chad Kelly this summer.
And I think I asked him about his uncle, Jim Kelly, former NFLer, fantastic quarterback in the Hall of Fame, and I'm sure he's counseled him. In fact, he said he just got back from Buffalo and was talking with him as well, and he mentioned that what the San Francisco coach said is it's offense, defense, special teams, and life. And I think, you know, again, I can't get into his brain, I can't get into his heart, but I really firmly believe after sitting down and talking with him and the way he talked with us, I think he's definitely a changed person in that regard.
And I think one thing that's kept Chad Kelly further motivated this summer is the fact that he's not number one right now.
Right.
You know, he's not number one in this quarterback race. Ryan Buchanan left spring drills with the lead. Hugh Freeze says it's been very small.
And there's a lot of guys.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people involved in this. He
he
mentioned Jason Peller.
Peller.
Yeah. You know.
But
so.
the reality is I think this is going to come down to Chad Kelly and Ryan Buchanan. I think it's going to be Chad Kelly. I don't know that it's going to be Chad Kelly for the first game, but you know, Freeze in his address to us today implied that, you know, he might see some separation in a couple of weeks. You know,
right?
So
it's possible.
So you just don't know.
He could also start all three, like he said.
Yeah,
I mean, he came up with some kind of play.
Yeah, going to start all three. That's interesting. He said he really got tired this off season of hearing the question of who's going to start at quarterback, so he may start all three with a trick play, the third being Devontae Kincaid. And you know, sometimes, JD, when I talk about this quarterback race, Devontae's almost like an afterthought, and that's because I just believe this offense is at its best when a quarterback sits in the pocket, makes second and third reads, doesn't turn the ball over, and completes about 65%, maybe 69% of his passes. I don't think that is Kincaid's strength relative to the other two. It's going to be Chad Kelly or Ryan Buchanan. I think it's going to be Kelly, and it may not be Kelly for the season opener, or it could be in 2 weeks. We'll see.
Well, I think you've disagreed with this one point a little bit more, but I really firmly believe we will see both quarterbacks play, and I think that's going to be the final test. I still think it's going to be so close during the next few weeks he's going to have to play, you know, Ryan and Chad in against UT Martin and really decide after that, if not even Fresno. But I think after the UT Martin game, well, that'll define it a lot more. And I think that's what's going to happen. I really do.
You know, Freeze kind of threw out there that there might be some separation. He was actually at that time talking about Kelly and his appearance with the media, and when he might be made available to the media, and that was the context in which he talked about the possibility of separation. I think the greater possibility, like you're talking about here, is that this race lasts a while, and that it lasts to the opening game, and that these quarterbacks play. This game, this job is not being handed to Chad Kelly, and that might be the thought of many when Kelly came into the program. I mean, Hugh Freeze obviously felt like he had a need at quarterback. He had to go out and sign an established junior college quarterback, even one with Kelly's baggage, you know, but he's working for the job. And I think of all the other things that's motivated him this summer, talking about trying to improve, trying to be the best, getting in the film room, and all those things, you know, just the fact that he's number two, I think that's been a big motivator for him. But anyway, as the Rebels get started with camp, no real difference in the quarterback race here. You know, not that you would expect any at this point, but it's about to get real, as they say. They're about to really go at it every day, and pads will go on Monday, so that's coming up. You know, the first couple of days they'll be feeling themselves out in shorts, and you don't get a lot done there, but that's where the quarterback race stands. Just everything else, JD, not a lot different.
Looks like everybody's in. No Joe Anderson, no Rasul Clemens, but everybody else, according to Coach Freeze, is going to be here. And
yeah, he probably just forgot about Anderson. He probably just forgot about Anderson
at media days.
At media days, because you know, we all thought from the beginning that reserve Louisiana defensive end was going to be a long shot.
But I will say this: of all the positions to where not to get two guys in from a newcomer standpoint, the defensive line is the most deep. You know, and the offensive line's right there too. The point is, defensive line, they weren't going to play anyway this year anymore. So I don't think it's the end of the world. And this team looks like they've got as much depth as they've ever had, and have a chance to be a very good team again. You know, Coach Freeze to me seemed very upbeat, and I think he's ready to go.
You know, I think the running back position is suddenly interesting again from a depth standpoint with the injury to Eric Swinney. You know, the stress fracture, the surgery that he's having, and you know, he's a guy we thought was going to play, was going to have a role, and all of a sudden, you know, I think the running backs are going to shape out to be Jalen Walton, Jordan Wilkins, Akeem Judd. That's kind of a no-brainer, but all of a sudden, Eugene Brazeley comes back into the picture a little bit with the Swinney injury.
Yeah, and obviously DK Buford gets added to the mix, and now he's bigger, but I can tell you this: in the open field, covering him in high school, there wasn't anybody better than DK Buford, and so he's got skill there. It'd be interesting to see how he pushes everybody as well.
Folks, I'm Parrish Alford. This is John Davis. This has been Rapid Reaction.